What's happening, everybody? I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. I want to talk about an article that I found in the New Republic. It's entitled Racist Trump Unleashes Horrifying Plan to Attack Kamala Harris. Once again, the title of the article is entitled Racist Trump Unleashes Horrifying Plan to Attack Kamala Harris. After days of struggling to land his attacks, Donald Trump seems to have a new strategy. Is it really a new strategy, or is it a strategy that has just been modernized? It was used against the Democratic nominee, Michael Dukakis. He used it. The late George Bush Sr. used it as well. So, an article written by Edith Armstead in the New Republic. Let's talk about this. Donald Trump's quote. According to the New Republic, Donald Trump's team is mounting a new angle of attacks on Vice President Kamala Harris, and while their plan is very much connected to the campaign's already racist rhetoric, its bigoted legacy goes back to even further to the presidential election of 1988. In the days since President Joe Biden dropped out of the presidential race and endorsed Kamala Harris, Trump's team has scrambled to adapt their attacks to the new presumptive nominee. Even before Biden's decision was officially announced, Trump had started to try out a couple of lame nicknames, such as Laughing Kamala and most recently Dumb as a Rock Kamala. But not surprisingly, none of these have really stuck. You know, it seems that this tired old man who is too old to be president of the United States. Remember, it was the Republicans who were consistently making a big deal out of President Biden's age. They called him old. They called him tired. They called him senile. They said he had Alzheimer's. Someone said he had Parkinson's. Well, now it's reversed. Trump is old. He's 78 years old and too old to be president of the United States of America. Now back to the article. It's time to get serious with their mode of attack, and so Republicans are planning to take aim at Harris's record as a district attorney in San Francisco. See how well that goes for you. Which she has already started to weaponize against convicted felon Trump. One Trump advisor said Harris's cases included several Willie Hortons. The Bulwark reported Tuesday, referring to the racist attack ad launched against Senator Michael Dukakis. During the 1988 election, the ad featured a Massachusetts inmate named Willie Horton who had stabbed a woman and raped a woman while on a weekend furlough, a policy in crime for which then Republican candidate George W. Bush explicitly blamed Dukakis. I got something I'm going to say in a few minutes. As the late great Walter Shapiro wrote for the New Republic in 2022, it has become a Republican cliche. When the polls look ominous, the party often conjures the image of a menacing black man. Let me ask you a question. How well do you think that's going to go over this time around? If you all think that Black America is not going to come out in unprecedented numbers, if you all think that black men around the nation are not going to support Kamala Harris, if you think that black women are not going to support her and vote for her, you are out of your mind. Let me ask you a question, Senator Tim Scott. How did all that bootlicking, how did it go well for you? Didn't go well, did it? Trump was never going to pick a black man as second in command to him. I tell you what he did do. He picked someone even more racist and more vitriolic than him to do his dirty work. Well, since the gloves are now off, this is going to be a great campaign season. And if you all think that Kamala Harris is not up for the task, somebody has told you wrong. Mark my words. She is going to win this upcoming election, bottom line. And she's going to win it because millions and millions and millions of people are going to be on her side. So the infamous Horton ads encourage race-based politics by playing into racial stereotypes linking black men with crimes to fearmonger about a lawless Democratic presidency. Trump has been able to exploit and exasperate this trend within the Republican Party with his own lies about immigrant crime rates. Now it seems the Republicans are plotting to launch a similar attack against Harris. Now, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And don't y'all cry foul when the Democrats and their political action committees start digging up all the trash and dirt about the Republican nominee. For some Republicans, it seems the racist Willie Horton-esque smack talk has already begun. During an interview on CNN Tuesday, Senator Tom Cotton called Harris a failed San Francisco liberal that's wrong for America. Really? A failed San Francisco liberal that's wrong for America. How about a failed, defeated candidate who is a racist that's wrong for America? You Trump supporters can't take the truth about your candidate. And you had racist Hulk Hogan, brother, as the keynote speaker, I guess, the hype man who can't stand black people. I'm going to talk about Hogan in a separate video. And Hogan showed his true colors of racism and bigotry at the Republican convention. And you can believe that black people will never respect or ever like Hulk Hogan again. Yes, I said it. Harris declined to seek the death penalty for the killer of police officer Isaac Espesino, despite a pressure campaign from several California Democrats. What about all the police officers who kill innocent black men and women? What about the police officer who recently killed a black woman? And they're trying to cover it up. We don't want to talk about that, though, do we? Now, there are hundreds of thousands of law enforcement officers who abide by the law, they abide by their oath, and they're doing an exemplary job every single day of protecting society and making sure that safety is the #1 priority. But then you've got that rogue, racist, bigoted group of cops. And let me tell you something, I'm a criminal justice major. And I'm going to be a real reform advocate of every kind. I'm not playing the game here. And I'm not going to let people slide simply because they wear a badge. If you are true to the blue, you will be counted as a hero and you will get every accolade that you deserve. But if you're rotten to the core, and we will no longer listen to, oh, there's one bad apple. No, there are a whole bunch of rotten apples within law enforcement, and you know it. So Renata Espesino, the police officer's widow, said Harris hadn't called her before announcing the decision. Harris had just taken justice from us, from Isaac Espesino, told CNN in 2019. She was only thinking of herself. The prosecution worked to paint David Hill, who was convicted of fatally shooting Espesino and sentenced to life without parole, as a hardened gangster, and even cited his own rap lyrics in their case against him. CNN's John Bowman had reminded Compton that when Trump ran for president in 2020, his team had attacked Harris for just the opposite, being too tough on criminals. And all this BS about blacks for Trump, name one black speaker that appeared at the Republican Klan convention. Name one. I'll wait. Who? The rapper? The so-called reality star? She doesn't speak for us. She speaks for herself. In August, former Trump spokesperson Katrina Pearson claimed Harris fought to keep inmates locked up in overcrowded prisons so they could be used for cheap labor. She championed laws that put parents in jail for truancy and prosecuted the mentally ill. Well, isn't that exactly what you Republicans are doing every single day? I don't care what her record was as a prosecutor. One thing I do know, she's our sister. And just like the racist, bigoted, MAGA Republicans stand with, for, and by Donald Trump. We are going to stand with, for, and by Kamala Harris. We're with her. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender. Never quit.